Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for those actors whose ability to create a character on screen is well known, but whose singing talents took us by surprise.
I've got powers too, and they're pretty sweet.
Number 30, Kate Winslet.
And fruitily did. We both said fruitily. I'm impressed. You are a prodigy, a doodle prodigy.
Did you know that Kate Winslet won a Grammy? Though that isn't how we were made aware of her singing talents, given that the award was for her narration of a short story audiobook in 1999, it does speak to the range she has with her voice. Her singing abilities actually came to light a couple of years later with the release of the animated film Christmas Carol the movie.
What if I had never let you go?
Winslet voices Belle, the former love of Scrooge's life who he reunites with after he's visited by the three ghosts and becomes a kinder person. While the film flopped at the box office, the lone bright spot was the one single released from the soundtrack, What If?, which hit number 1 in multiple countries around the world. Sung by, yep, Kate Winslet.
If I'd stayed, if you tried, if we could only turn back time. But I guess we'll never know.
Number 29, Scarlett Johansson. Guess who had what NME named the 23rd best album of 2008?
I've lived a lot of lives before I met you, Ross. You shouldn't have gone to all this trouble.
That's right, it was Scarlett Johansson. You may not be aware, but the talented actress is also an accomplished singer, with 2 studio albums and 4 EPs to her name. But even if you haven't bought or streamed her albums or singles, there's a good chance you've heard her singing a tune or two in the movies. Remember Ash, the punk rock porcupine in Sing? Well, that was Johansson voicing the character and belting out her tunes.
I can finally sing. It's not just a dream when you set it all free, you set it all free.
Number 28, Reese Witherspoon. In 2001, Reese Witherspoon showed us all that she could bend and snap. But it wasn't until 2005 that we learned she could actually sing.
I didn't have no tune in mind, I didn't wait to choose. I just dropped a nickel in the sun and I played the jukebox blues.
We are, of course, talking about Walk the Line and her Academy Award-winning performance as June Carter. Not only was she a surprisingly good singer, she also played her own instruments in the film.
How my heart is now wandering, no misery can tell. He's left me no warning, no words of farewell.
And in case anyone thought it was a fluke, Witherspoon once again showed off her singing abilities in 2016's Sing. In this one, she voices Rosita the Pig and does a great cover of Taylor Swift's Shake It Off.
It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright.
Number 27, Taron Egerton.
If you're prepared to adapt and learn, you can transform.
Oh, like in My Fair Lady.
You're not full of surprises.
When Taron Egerton broke onto the scene in 2014's Kingsman: The Secret Service, he showed us all that he had both comedic and action chops. However, his singing chops wouldn't be on display for another 2 years until Egerton let loose singing Elton John. But wait, didn't Rocket Man come out in 2019? Yes, it did. But that was not the Elton John singing we were talking about. Nope. As some adults and lots of kids will remember, Egerton was the voice of Johnny the Gorilla in 2016's Sing. And in said film, he covers Elton John's I'm Still Standing.
Looking like a true survivor, I'm feeling like a little kid.
Number 26, Amanda Seyfried.
Heart full of love, no fear, no regret.
We don't know how many actresses are also billed as singer-songwriters in the first sentence of their Wikipedia page, but we do know that Amanda Seyfried is one of them. And while she and the other Mean Girls showed off their a cappella skills for a brief moment in that classic 2004 comedy, it wasn't until Mamma Mia in 2008 that we really saw what she could do vocally. While she doesn't think highly of her singing in 2012's Les Misérables, we think she did quite well. And to get back to the singer-songwriter credit, Seyfried wrote and recorded the song Little House that appears on the soundtrack of her 2010 film, Dear John.
To help us grow, to help us grow, to help us grow.
Number 25, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz.
Prior to 2002, there wasn't really anything in Catherine Zeta-Jones's feature film work that suggested she was a talented singer, though musical theater fans would have known she'd been in multiple stage musicals prior to. So, when she was cast as Velma Kelly in Chicago, it probably surprised a few people, but probably not as much as it surprised us all at how good she was in her Oscar-winning role, particularly the dancing and singing parts of it.
Now you see me going through it. You may think there's nothing to it, but I simply cannot do it.
And we cannot talk about singing surprises in Chicago without also giving it up for Renee Zellweger. In 2001, she surprised us with her spot-on British accent in Bridget Jones's Diary. And the following year, it was her singing talent that had us cheering.
And who, in case she doesn't hang, can say she started with a bang. Roxy Hart.
Number 24, Nicole Kidman.
We're all relying on you, Gosling. Remember, a real show in a real theater with a real audience.
It comes as no surprise that Nicole Kidman's husband, four-time Grammy winner Keith Urban, is a good singer. But Kidman herself wasn't someone who we necessarily associated with singing. Until 2001, that is. Because it was in that year that Moulin Rouge happened, and Kidman, along with her co-star Ewan McGregor, gave us Come What May.
Suddenly my life doesn't seem such a waste. It all revolves around you.
This isn't a simple song either. Come What May demands quite an impressive vocal range and control, and Kidman showed she was up for the challenge. And later that year, she topped multiple music charts around the world with her Something Stupid duet with Robbie Williams.
Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
Number 23, Bradley Cooper.
Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for?
Sure, now we all know Bradley Cooper can sing, but come on. You have to admit that when you saw A Star Is Born, you, like us, were surprised at how good he sounded. And you know who else was surprised by it? His future co-star Lady Gaga, who let out an "oh my gosh" the first time they sang together.
I was blown away by him. I mean, he sings from his soul, he sings from his gut, and when he sings, he's a storyteller.
But as surprisingly good a singer as he is now, that probably wasn't the case even just a couple of years before A Star Is Born, as Cooper took voice lessons for about a year and a half prior to making that movie.
If I could take spirits from my past and bring them here, no I would, no I would.
Number 22, Michelle Pfeiffer.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Michelle Pfeiffer might be best known to some as Batman's feline foe, but before she stepped into the skin-tight catsuit, Pfeiffer took on her first big role in the much-maligned musical film Grease 2.
I want a whole lot more than the boy next door. I want hell on wheels.
The movie flopped and mostly faded into obscurity. But that didn't stop Pfeiffer from stealing the show with her sultry singing in 1989's The Fabulous Baker Boys. Her performance of making Whoopi atop a grand piano is still held up as an iconic musical scene in the history of cinema.
But don't forget, folks, That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
And of course, that would not be her last foray into singing on film. She showed off her impressive singing chops in both The Prince of Egypt and Hairspray later in her career.
For the crowns in the vault from when I won Miss Baltimore Cross.
Number 21, Ewan McGregor. One thing we know about anyone who didn't expect that Ewan McGregor could sing well in Moulin Rouge is that they likely hadn't seen the 1996 film Emma, because it was in said Jane Austen-inspired period film that Mr. McGregor flexed his vocal muscles for a lovely duet with Gwyneth Paltrow.
I love her till I die. Surely you heard my lady go down the garden singing.
And for those who missed both Emma and Moulin Rouge, well, they got their chance to admire McGregor's awesome singing abilities as the voice of the candelabra Lumiere in Disney's 2017 live-action version of Beauty and the Beast.
Be our guest, put our selfies to the test.
Number 20, Eddie Redmayne. As a kid, this British actor would sit in the back of his parents' car with his brother, playing Gavroche in a Les Miserables reenactment.
This is my school, my high society, here in the slums of Saint Michel. We live on crumbs of humble piety, tough on the teeth, but what the hell.
Little could he have guessed that one day he would be cast as Marius Pontmercy in Tom Hooper's stage-to-screen adaptation.
A heart full of song, so I'm doing everything all wrong. Oh God, for shame, I do not even know your name.
The actor attended stage school from the age of 10, but it sounds like nothing could have quite prepared him for singing live on set for several hours a day. Apparently, it took him 21 takes to get empty chairs at empty tables just right. Nevertheless, he impressed us with his singing abilities, and we cannot wait to hear him sing again.
Oh, my friends, don't ask me.
Number 19, Anne Hathaway. Hathaway first garnered popularity as Mia Thermopolis in The Princess Diaries, but we first discovered that she could sing in Ella Enchanted.
Can anybody find me somebody to love?
Give it a little more soul.
From Somebody to Love to Don't Go Breaking My Heart, it was clear that this rising star had a lot of range. She was almost cast as Christine in the Phantom of the Opera movie too, but she dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. Still, in 2012, she wowed us as Fantine in Les Mis instead.
So different from this hell I'm living. So different, no, from what it seems.
Interestingly, she was inspired to enter showbiz after watching her mom play Fantine on stage. If any of her movies ever receive a musical adaptation, they know who to call.
Take my hand, I'll lead you to salvation.
Number 18, Val Kilmer. Imagine if Batman delivered his famous line in his signature growl before breaking into a bit of rock and roll. Well, imagine no more, because as you might recall, Kilmer played Jim Morrison in the 1991 musical biopic The Doors. And yes, he did all his own singing.
Now, you get yours, baby, I'll get mine. Gonna make it, baby, if we try.
You can also hear him in the credits of True Romance and on the soundtrack of his 1984 debut movie, Top Secret.
She knows how to love me, yes indeed. A boy don't know what you do to me, to the fruity, oh Rudy.
Despite having a lovely voice, he didn't provide the singing voice for Moses in DreamWorks' The Prince of Egypt. It's a tragedy that Kilmer lost his voice to throat cancer, but thanks to AI technology, the actor has been able to speak again.
That's what the line of let's stop right there.
Number 17, Patrick Swayze. We knew he could act, we knew he could dance, and thanks to Dirty Dancing, we learned that he could sing.
We surprised everybody.
I guess we
did.
Although, if you'd seen him play Danny Zuko on Broadway, you probably weren't all that surprised. Anyway, like the popular dance flick, his soulful vocals on She's Like the Wind became an unexpected hit.
Her body close to me, can't look in her eyes. She's out of my league.
It peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard chart and even went platinum. His voice could render a room silent and leave all listeners with chills. We only wish we had more of his music to enjoy as part of his already tremendous legacy.
Just a fool believe she's like the wind.
Number 16, Kerry Washington. The actress has a beautiful voice, and it's really a scandal that we don't get to hear it more often.
Yes, girl. Do you hear this?
Other than a spot of karaoke with Jordan Sparks and an appearance on the Disney Holiday Sing-Along in 2020, she's managed to keep her talents relatively under wraps.
And it's so funny, that Disney sing-along reminds me of so many people that I forgot could sing, could sing. You know, and you were one of them. I was like, oh, that's right. Carrie can sing, too.
Also in 2020, she made her official on-screen singing debut in Ryan Murphy's Netflix adaptation of The Prom. Even though she didn't get to sing all that much as the conservative Mrs. Green, what we do hear is pretty impressive.
And I would never miss a night like this, Alyssa, you're my superstar.
Let's hope that she doesn't shy away from taking on more musical roles in the future. Number 15, Emma Stone. Emma's vocal talents flew under our radars until 2016's La La Land, although this wasn't the first time she'd sung on our screens.
I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child, I'm a mother, I'm a sinner, I'm a flame.
Anyway, from A Lovely Night to Audition, she amazed us with her astounding versatility. Her contributions to the movie even earned her several accolades, including a Golden Globe and an Academy Award. Interestingly, her audition for Mia, a Hollywood hopeful, wasn't all that conventional.
Is someone in the crowd the only thing you really see?
The movie's director Damien Chazelle and composer Justin Hurwitz came to see the 2013 revival of Cabaret, where she was making her Broadway debut as Sally Bowles. Clearly she impressed them, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Here's to the fools who dream, crazy as they may seem.
Number 14, Catherine O'Hara. This Canadian superstar is a woman of many talents, and singing is most certainly one of them.
My sweet, my dear, my darling, you're so far away from me, though an ocean of tears divides us.
She's probably best known for her roles in the Canadian sketch comedy SCTV, Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and as the wonderfully eccentric Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek. However, she's no stranger to singing on screen either.
I warned you I was lonely, but you didn't seem to care. No, no, no. I check it a bit too, but you better heed a woman's tears. Woo, step and a shankalo.
For instance, did you know that she lends her voice to Sally and Shock in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas? And did you recognize her voice behind the hauntingly beautiful Sally song? We could never tire of her soothing voice. It's the perfect addition to this animated, ghoulish holiday classic.
And will he see how much he means to me? I think it's not to be.
Number 13, Zachary Levi. Even if Chuck the Musical was just a fantasy, that didn't stop Zachary Levi from singing on set anyway. He was known to bust out a few bars between takes and during set changes. However, his musical chops were destined for more than just off-camera entertainment.
At last I see the light, and it's like the fog is lifted.
In 2010, he voiced Flynn Rider in Disney's Tangled, and also recorded a song with Katharine McPhee.
I could be all that you're needing if you let me try.
Now Now that the world knew he could sing, Broadway was calling. After making his debut with First Date, he received a Tony Award nomination for his performance as George Novak in She Loves Me.
I'm tingling, such delicious tingles. I'm trembling, what the hell does that mean? I'm freezing, that's because it's cold out, and still I'm incandescent.
Number 12, Tom Hiddleston.
Then we'll hoist up the sail, and we'll set course for the sun. 'Cause when you've got wings, no wicked deed cannot be done.
If you aren't surprised by this entry, then perhaps you've watched our other video about MCU actors who can sing. The God of Mischief actor even gave us a tune in episode 3 of Loki. But if you really want to see the extent of his singing abilities, check out the Hank Williams biopic I Saw the Light. It was a rather demanding role, and for a British boy, getting into the country western vibes could not have been easy either. Nevertheless, he proves that he has the vocal strength to pull it off, and that he can yodel with the best of them.
Well, I'm nobody's sugar daddy now, and I'm lonesome. I got the lovesick blues.
Number 11, Chris Pine. We don't imagine that much singing takes place aboard the Starship Enterprise. But fortunately, Captain Kirk has stopped by planet Earth on occasion to showcase his singing abilities. And you know he's good because Queen Barbara even asked him to feature on her album. Even though he'd done a spot of singing here and there, his skills were a relatively well-kept secret.
I have grown accustomed to her face, but I'll be seeing you.
That is, until he was cast as Cinderella's prince in the 2014 movie musical Into the Woods. It was a role made for him, too. Sondheim is notoriously challenging, yet he nails it and brings plenty of charm and humor to the character.
Agony beyond power of speech, when the one thing you want is the only thing out of your reach.
Number 10, Oscar Isaac. Long before his breaking into showbiz, Isaac was a singer and lead guitarist for a Miami-based ska punk band called the Blinking Underdogs.
Was it a ska band?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It
All
was
right.
a ska band.
All right.
I was in a couple ska bands, actually.
Although he would become more renowned for his non-musical work, he didn't leave his love of music behind either. In 2011, he played a musician in the rom-com 10 Years, which also featured songs written and performed by him on the soundtrack.
And I hope this song I'm singing someday finds you, wherever you may be.
He also left us awestruck by his performance as a down-on-his-luck folk singer in the Coen brothers' Inside Llewyn Davis. Look, all we're saying is that if Star Wars ever decided to go musical, he's right there.
Fairly well, oh honey, fairly well.
Number 9, Colin Farrell. Could you imagine this Irish bad boy as a member of Boyzone? Yeah, us either.
And I sang Careless Whisper.
No.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Terrible tune.
Can you sing?
Coming out of this mouth.
No.
Terrible tune.
Okay.
Murdered it.
Yeah.
So bad they asked me to, could you do that could you do that again?
Catching the acting bug after his unsuccessful boy band audition, he went on to have a successful movie career instead. He starred in films like SWAT and In Bruges. But we also got to see his musical side when he was cast opposite Jeff Bridges in the 2009 drama Crazy Heart.
I got tired of being good, started missing that old feeling free, stopped acting like I thought I should, went on back to being me.
And yes, like Bridges, he did all of his own singing. His voice is so soulful and comforting and just makes our hearts melt. Life must be so hard when you're that good-looking and talented.
You roll them silvers with nothing to lose. This ain't no place for the weary kind.
Number 8, Jensen Ackles. Speaking of incredibly attractive, multi-talented performers, after years of delighting fans with his musical talents at conventions, the actor dropped his debut album as part of the band Radio Company in 2019. Teaming up with musician Steve Carlson, Ackles proved that no genre was out of his reach. Their song Sounds of Someday even appeared in a Jensen-directed episode in Supernatural's final season. We're not sure just how we describe his voice exactly, but we reckon he could sing anything and make it sound phenomenal. Supernatural may not have been a musical, but when you have a voice like that at your disposal, you use it as much as you can. And we hope he'll continue doing so in his future projects.
Making their way the only way they know how. Well, that's just a little bit more than the law will allow.
Number 7. Joaquin Phoenix. You would think that filling Johnny Cash's ginormous shoes would be an impossible task.
Looks like you're going to a funeral. Maybe I am.
But Phoenix proved he was up to the mission and even got the singer's blessing. Like his co-star Reese Witherspoon, he provided all of his own vocals.
I've got lips.
And I got lips. Let's get together and use those lips. Let's go.
Time's a wasting.
Phoenix recalled the challenge of channeling the singer. But if you ask us, he did not disappoint. Clearly, somebody did their homework and went for the extra credit, too. He and Reese even learned how to play musical instruments for their respective roles. We're not saying anyone could replace the legend that is Johnny Cash, but Joaquin did exceptionally well, don't you think?
I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild.
Number 6. Seth MacFarlane. Fans of this Rhode Island native are very aware of his impressive arsenal of voices.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time.
However, even when he's just being Seth MacFarlane, the man has a voice like melted butter. It's so soft and silky, and you can totally picture him in line with those golden age crooners.
It's easy to remember and so hard to forget.
Indeed, he lists Frank Sinatra as his idol and was clearly inspired by him while recording his 6 studio albums. MacFarlane has received 5 Grammy nods for his music. His song Everybody Needs a Best Friend from Ted also received the Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song. Seriously, is there anything he can't do?
Looking for ways to say I love you. Take your cue from the birds. Music is better than words.
Number 5. Gerard Butler. Okay, let's get this out of the way first. We know that Butler's singing wasn't to everyone's taste.
Curse you! You little lying Delilah! You little viper!
But you gotta give the man some credit. He had no prior training, other than a bit of singing in an amateur rock band, and this is the Phantom of the Opera, after all. Nevertheless, after impressing Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber in his audition, Butler trained hard for the iconic character.
Open up your mind, let your fantasies unwind in this darkness that you know you cannot find.
Admittedly, his Phantom was more rock than opera, but apparently that's what the composer was going for. Do we think we'll see Butler's Phantom on stage? Probably not. But he still did a pretty good job nonetheless.
It's over now, the music of the night.
Number 4. Robert Pattinson. Our Pats has embodied some pretty well-known characters throughout his career.
Say it out loud.
However, his stunning singing voice hasn't always received the spotlight it deserves. Not only does he have an absolutely dreamy voice, he also writes his own music and plays guitar and piano too.
How long
He showcased some of his skills on the Twilight soundtrack, both as a singer and songwriter. You can also hear him on the soundtrack for his 2008 indie dramedy How to Be.
It's a work in progress.
And in 2010, he was named Hollywood's most influential top unexpected musician. Apparently, he has considered a career in music, and we're just saying that it's never too late.
Say so for you too far gone.
Number 3. Hugh Laurie.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away.
At first, we knew him as one half of the comedy duo Fry and Laurie. Then we recognized him from his titular role in the medical drama House. Now, let's bring you up to date on his musical career, too.
And he fell down to his knees, saying, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy if you please.
Not only can he sing well, but he also plays a plethora of instruments and is a member of a charity rock group called Band from TV. He's also released 2 studio albums, consisting of classic blues music, the first of which went double platinum. Perhaps one day he'll receive a Grammy Award to add some more variety to his already impressive collection of accolades.
Baby behind the song, 'cause I've just found out that my trouble's just begun.
Number 2. Robert Downey Jr. Even if you didn't know that Iron Man had a singing career, we can think of one Avenger who definitely did.
The futurist, gentlemen! The futurist is here!
This is a nod to the actor's 2004 debut jazz album of the same name. As well as a voice that will make you go weak in the knees, Downey is also an accomplished songwriter and keyboard player. He's sung on several movie soundtracks, in addition to releasing his own music as well.
Sounds like October, a futurist knows.
Let's not forget the time he nailed his duet with Sting, either.
Every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you.
Given the collective talent of the MCU stars, we're surprised there haven't yet been whispers of an Avengers musical.
Make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. Oh.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Jeremy Renner. Following Endgame, Renner returned to his musical roots, taking many of us by surprise.
I'm just going with the flow, and no matter where I am going, and I got no plans on slowing down.
We knew him from the MCU franchise, Mission Impossible, The Bourne Legacy, and a couple of Oscar-nominated roles. But a musician? Well, that was brand new information. Yet music was actually his first passion, and one he's always taken quite seriously. In addition to playing several instruments, he's also a skilled singer-songwriter.
Gotta like your style. You're the perfect distraction. You're the main attraction.
He's released 2 EPs, a single, and like his MCU co-star, has also sung on several soundtracks for his own movies as well. The Avengers would make a great name for a band. We're just saying.
I promise I can do so much more than just archery.
Which of these singing celebs surprised you with their vocal talents? Let us know in the comments.
Why is the waiter smiling at us?
He knows what we're thinking of.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.